Another busy day around the streaming center and the Fox 19 Now First Alert Weather Center. If you hear kind of some scratchy interference in audio, that's because I'm putting the mic on, got the lights on, got the cameras running. The only thing I don't have up and running is the weather computer. So let's see. Got to log in. Okay. It'll take a few seconds here. Weather computer number 1. And that means we should be ready to go. All right. So, hi, everybody. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. This is it's supposed to be the 7:15 live streaming weather show, but right now it turns out it started at 7:17. This is what it looks like from our tower cam. What a nice looking evening for Pete Rose evening down at Great American Ballpark. As a matter of fact, what we're talking about here is, let's see, there we go. Now I've got the right one up. What we're talking about here is beautiful blue skies, some dry air coming in just in time for the game. We were sweating it out a little bit earlier that there looked like there was some shower activity developing. But just as we ended up seeing some showers develop, we started to see this big dry area to the south begin to move into the tri-state, and that right there is the result. All that blue sky. So it's gorgeous out there for Pete Rose Day down at Great American Ballpark. Now, on a more serious note here, both Thursday and Friday are first alert weather days. Both days have similar timing, late afternoon, evening, and overnight. We are talking about all threats that come with severe weather are possible: large hail, damaging winds, tornadoes. And we're also talking about the entire Fox 19 Now viewing area for both the Thursday and the Friday episodes involved with that. So overall, that is what we're looking at. 2 first alert weather days, and this is a pretty serious situation. Now, this is one of those forecasts that just drives the meteorologist crazy because there's conflicting information all over. Everything we see says that we should see some big thunderstorms, but up until this afternoon, most of the models were saying nothing was going to happen at all on Thursday. Okay, and then so this afternoon, as Aaron Ashley, Brad Mousehart, and myself were discussing this, one of the new model runs came in and it finally started producing results that were consistent with what we saw going on in the atmosphere. And so we're fairly confident that severe weather is a good bet both days, and then especially on Friday, a little bit higher threat. Okay, so the impact timeline for each of these. Both days, Thursday and Friday, 6 a.m. to noon, not a big deal, although we could see some showers, a few light thunderstorms in that time frame. The noon to 6 p.m. time frame, same thing, not much going on. It's from 6 p.m. through the evening into the overnight that we have the greatest risk of seeing severe storms in the Fox 19 Now viewing area. And again, all modes of severe weather are possible with this situation. All right, now, I'm not sure what happened here, but I know what's happened here. Okay, if you take a look at this, I had and showed dew points in the 70s for both Thursday and Friday, but this was at 8 p.m., okay? Well, by 8 p.m. on Friday, we're getting rain in Cincinnati, and that's going to cool the air off and cool the dew point off. So Thursday, it's going to be as sticky as the middle of summer. Friday is also going to be as sticky as the middle of summer with dew points up in the 70s, but by 8 p.m., that dew point is going to drop into the 60s because of the rain and thunderstorm activity around the tri-state. And then everything looks nice, pleasant weather for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We might have a few lingering showers early Saturday. And then as we head on into next week, the weather gets back to about normal. But overall, that 71-degree dew point paints the true picture. The 62-degree dew point for Friday doesn't. That's only after the rain has begun. And so we are also looking at dew points in the 70s on Friday. So both Thursday and Friday, steamy. And whenever you look at dew points in the 70s, that's telling you how much moisture is in the atmosphere. And moisture is thunderstorm fuel. All you do is you take a parcel of moist, warm air, you lift it, okay, in a thunderstorm updraft. What happens is because the pressure decreases, the air cools. It doesn't have enough energy eventually for the water vapor to stay as a vapor, so it's got to drop back to a lower energy state, which we call a liquid, raindrops. But in doing that, as that air is lifted, as it cools, as the humidity, the water vapor in it becomes liquid water drops, it releases heat, and that helps drive the storm. And so in that way, whenever you see dew points in the 70s, you've got high octane fuel. And again, Friday is going to be unbearably humid, but not by 8 p.m. By 8 p.m., the rain's falling and things have cooled off a little bit. Stay humid, but the dew point won't be quite as high. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this graphic. This is thunderstorm energy, okay? And the red there inside of the white is the highest energy, and you can see that this evening it's quite high in Missouri, down in Texas. It goes away because the night cools off. Without the energy of the sun, things become less energetic. And then once again, for Thursday, this is at 4:50 p.m. Notice that the Cincinnati area is in that side of that white. The highest thunderstorm energy at 4:50 p.m. on Thursday is right there along the Illinois-Indiana state line, not far from Terre Haute and on part of the Wabash River. Okay, but we have got quite high thunderstorm energy too. And again, it takes more than just thunderstorm energy. It takes a bunch of elements to come together exactly right to create quite a bit of severe weather. Okay, so that's Thursday. Now, what we would expect to happen is as we head into Thursday night into Friday morning, the amount of thunderstorm energy kind of goes away, or at least lessens quite a bit, and then it'll build back up as the day heats up on Friday, because not only will Thursday be in the 80s, so will Friday. So here's what the model shows. It shows the thunderstorm energy kind of weakening quite a bit. And then as we head on through the day on Friday, there you go, right back into very high thunderstorm energy once again around the tri-state. So both Thursday and Friday are first alert weather days. Both days have a similar timeline that in the late afternoon, into the evening, into the overnight, severe weather is possible, and all modes of severe weather are on the table. That means tornadoes, large hail, and the possibility of thunderstorm damaging winds, okay? So let's see here. Sorry, I just got a message here. Oh, it was a comment by a baseball player named Mike Schmidt, who was from Dayton, on Pete Rose. And as you can tell, I'm a Pete Rose fan. The biggest Pete Rose fan that I personally know is my wife. Her and her dad were down at Riverfront Stadium on the day that Pete hit 41-92, and my wife's been a big fan of Pete all along. She's said yesterday when the news first crossed the news wires, I called her immediately and said, hey, guess what? And she said, oh, that's great, but they should have done it when he was still alive. So let's honor Pete for what he did on the baseball field, because it was tremendous. All right, so thunderstorm energy is quite high. Okay, Storm Prediction Center says that there is a slight to marginal risk of severe weather in the Fox 19 Now viewing area for the Thursday episode. That's levels 1 and 2 out of 5. The Storm Prediction Center says it's even higher for Friday. It's enhanced to slight, so levels 2 and 3 out of 5 for the Friday episode. And both days could be quite a big problem, okay? And again, you always have to qualify a forecast that looks like, yeah, everything's there, but are all the elements going to work together at the same time and all that to bring a severe thunderstorm situation into the tri-state? And right now it appears they will. Okay, so there you see it right now. There's just dry air that's moved into the tri-state. There's really nothing going on to the south of us. All that air's moving in. You can see from the south. It's high, thin cloud cover over southwest Indiana. So it looks like a beautiful night for the Pete Rose festivities. Okay, so here is what's going to happen. Now watch what happens here. This is starting at 8 p.m. We put this into motion. By 11 o'clock, maybe a few showers moving in. A few showers and thunderstorms overnight. Nothing big, nothing severe. So there may even be a few in the area for the morning commute. We see a few showers and thunderstorms around noontime to 1 p.m. and then the big stuff gets here. And remember, this all gets bigger and stronger because of the heat of the day. Look at the temperatures. The temperatures are in the 80s, okay, as high as 85 in Vanceburg, 85 in West Union, 84 in Hillsborough, Georgetown, and Maysville. And so when all that heat warms up that humid air, you get big thunderstorms. And if you look at these closely, this is what a model says a thunderstorm looks like. You can see the purple or magenta cores here in this one in southern Owen County, here in Switzerland County, Ohio County, in Ripley and Dearborn counties. And this is just the beginning. You go to the north, right up here in the northern part of Ripley County, around Batesville, around Brookville, and so and then some out here beyond our viewing area. So this model is saying, yes, we've got a serious threat of severe thunderstorm activity. This is at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Now we'll put this into motion, and you can see those storms maintain their strength until they're about ready to exit our viewing area off to the east. They'll still be strong by then, but they will be moving out of the area. Overnight, we'll get a few more strong, maybe severe thunderstorms in the early morning hours of Friday, right there. But Friday evening is when the worst of it could get here. Okay, so this evening we're looking at 75 right now. Temperatures should drop by 11 o'clock to 66 overnight. Talking about temperatures dropping off into the low 60s once again, and it'll be a muggy start to the day. Sunrise at 6:26. And Climate Prediction Center says, okay, excuse me for 1 second, I'll let you look at this. I've got to get a drink here to soothe my throat. And that drink of choice is Diet Mountain Dew, by the way. Okay, so we're looking at the Climate Prediction Center's forecast for the 20th to the 24th, a little bit cooler than normal. Considerably cooler than normal through the 28th. That puts the bullseye right over top of the Fox 19 Now viewing area of cooler than normal weather. Okay, and if we take a look at the 7-day forecast, what we're going to see here is that tonight's low drops to 61, high tomorrow 84, 82 on Friday. Both days high humidity. It's going to feel like midsummer. It's going to be uncomfortable, not fun at all if you have a very physically demanding a job out of doors. You're going to feel it. Make sure you take plenty of breaks, drink plenty of fluids, because this will be the first 2 days we've had like this. And then both days are first alert weather days because of the risk of severe storms. The Reds play Thursday and again Friday, and we're just hoping that we can get those games in around some of the storms, but it may not be possible. Then things change. Saturday and Sunday, great looking weather. The humidity drops off dramatically, so pleasant humidity, pleasant temperatures, and a few lingering showers early Saturday morning. Monday and Tuesday look nice, and then Wednesday we go back into shower activity around the tri-state. Okay, so beyond the 7-day forecast looks like this. Coolish. Look at those highs in the 60s, and then warming into the 70s, but they're all below normal. Coolish with a break from the rain? Question mark. Whenever you're doing extended period forecasting, it always should end with a question mark because so many things can change. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 7-day plus. And here we go. Highs, lows. We put the normal lines on there, and you can see that just like when we were talking about this yesterday, Wednesday the 21st, the high temperatures go below normal, and they stay that way through the 28th. And not a huge amount, but I mean, there are a couple days where it's 10 degrees cooler than normal on that high temperature graph. And then the low temperature graph, same thing. From the 22nd through the 28th, it is cooler than normal around the tri-state. Okay, let me take a look at what if we have any comments in that on Facebook. All we got to do is find it. There we go, Facebook. All right, so here we go. Okay, Jennifer Claiborne wants to know, with Friday storms, how high will the tornado threat be? And a high tornado threat is in the 5 to 10% range. I mean, you know, there's almost never a 95% range, but yeah, it's moderately high, Jennifer, for Friday, and I would not be surprised to see, there'll at least be severe thunderstorm watches and severe thunderstorm warnings, and a tornado watch is definitely possible. Stephen Bryce Campbell, yeah, I'm with you, Stephen. He says, please, no tornadoes on Friday, and I'm with you on that. But you know, the best thing is we can forewarn you that to be aware and be ready for it in case it does happen. And Jeff Beachwell says that he thinks it looks like it's about to get very bad. Yeah, we have the possibility now. Okay, let me qualify this once again. we always say this, and I always use this. This is my little thing for all the elements have to come together and work together just right, okay, to get a big severe weather system into the tri-state. And sometimes you really can't tell until it's just about to get rolling, okay? And so don't be surprised if we only have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. Don't be surprised, on the other hand, if we end up with quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings and some tornado warnings. It's like it's kind of the limit of the science of weather forecasting, that we can give you a very good idea that something's going to happen. It may be much worse to the north and to the south than it is here, but we're fairly convinced we've got all the elements. They just have to work together, and that's the hardest thing to tell. So and the important thing is that you're aware of it now, you know to pay attention to the weather, and you know how to take evasive action if you need to do that. Okay. Jeff Beechler wants to know if they're going to be gone by midnight. Thursday, probably not. Friday, possibly. Yeah, but they could spill into the overnight hours also. Vicki Worley, you're welcome. That's what my job is. Will they be like the storms we got in April? These could be really strong, severe thunderstorms with damaging wind gusts, and it could be more than mini spin-up leading-edge tornadoes. I mean, it could be a more significant weather system than that. And again, I'm not forecasting that big tornadoes will touch down, or many of them will. I'm just saying that all the elements look like they're coming together for that, and we'll have to see how that happens. But be aware that this is one of those times you have to keep taking evasive action and keeping yourself safe if, in fact, it does retire. Ricky Wallace, I heard you'll be retiring soon. Well, Ricky, I've told this story a couple times. I was supposed to retire about the 13th of March, and then meteorologist Ashley Smith left for another job, and I told them I'd stay on until the end of May. And then Frank Marzullo left the station, and I told them I'd stay on until the end of August until they could hire some people. So the first hire we made was Erin Ashley, and she's been with us. She's great. She knows her stuff. She's a local person, so you can really trust her word. And then we hired Brad Mousehart. And you may have seen him years ago on 9. You might have seen him at Channel 12. He had been working for weather, actually for the company that provides our weather data and our weather computers, and then decided to get back into TV and move back home. So he's from Southeast Indiana. You can trust him. He knows his stuff. He does the weather for FC Cincinnati, and so you're in good hands there. And then the third hire we made, she is just graduating from Mississippi State from the master's program in earth sciences. But she won't be joining us until the middle of June. And then they're going to hire somebody else to either take my place or decide who becomes the chief meteorologist and hire somebody else. So, and my last day at this point looks like it's the 28th of August. That would be a Thursday, maybe the 29th. So I think Saturday, Richard actually wants to know if it's going to rain Saturday. I think Saturday morning we'll have the last of the showers in the area, and that's probably early Saturday morning. So some in the morning, and then it slowly clears out through the day, and so the rest, after Saturday morning, the rest of the Saturday looks dry, and all of Sunday looks dry at this point. So I would say the bulk of the daylight hours over the weekend will be dry. Okay, so Jeff Beechler says, what's the chance they won't happen? Well, we've got two things. We've got, he mentions CAPE, C-A-P-E. That's convective available potential energy, okay? And the easiest way to talk about it when you're on TV is just to call it thunderstorm energy. And that's, I showed you the maps of that. So we have very high thunderstorm energy levels, both the evening hours of Thursday and the evening hours of Friday, okay? So that's in place, and that probably won't change. It's going to stay high there. Okay, and so are the other elements going to come together? Probably so. So there's a chance that nothing will happen at all other than some showers and some light thunderstorms, but I just can't see it at this point. I mean, all the models are finally trending toward strong to violent thunderstorms around the tri-state. So what happens is we've got a situation where you have the very warm, moist air at the surface with that high thunderstorm energy. And on top of that, you have it goes by various names. It's the elevated mixed layer in meteorological circles, but it's basically a dry, warm layer that puts a cap on it. Okay, and where's that dry, warm air come from? Well, I plotted earlier today. I was trying to figure that out. It's coming from the mountains of Colorado, and so around the low pressure. It comes around the low pressure system, streams and middle levels of the atmosphere, and that dry air means that a lot of the rising air that's trying to become more moist through condensation, a lot of that will evaporate, and it won't allow the thunderstorm to grow. And then you also have a thermal cap that it's warmer up here, so warmer and drier up here, and it takes a lot of energy at the surface to get that air to penetrate that cap. And right now it's looking like it's going to take a little while, but there'll be enough energy around the tri-state for the cap to be penetrated. Now the problem with it is, and Brad did a really good demonstration of that, it's like taking a bottle of a soft drink, Coke, Diet Mountain Dew, or whatever, shaking it up and just holding it there. Nothing really happens until you pop the lid, and once that cap is off, it can explode upward. And that's what happens with thunderstorm activity. So, so I think that that's the biggest problem with getting this forecast right is that lid going to stay there? Now, all the models have been saying for days it's just going to sit there, sit there, sit there. The new models are saying, not so sure. Looks like we'll be able to break that cap or that lid during the evening hours of Thursday, and then Friday's a different situation without one of those. So I think the trend here is that, we're going to break the cap. We're going to, that lid that's inhibiting convection is going to be broken, and we're going to see a rapid development of some severe thunderstorms during the evening hours of Friday. So early as late afternoon, possibly more likely in the early evening hours. Okay, and so, and that's one of those things that, okay, so Lori Belcher says, I have the weather app on my phone. I usually do a dinner date for myself on Thursday. The way it sounds, I should cancel. I go to Hamilton Friday. She's going to definitely cancel. So, and actually, I wouldn't say that at this point. If you feel better, and there's a lot of factors here. I mean, you may, I don't know, what you have a lot of things you have to do to cancel whatever you're doing. And so sometimes it's just easier to say, okay, even if it doesn't happen, let's just cancel it, make it easier, and then we'll regroup. So, it's all up to you. I mean, if you feel better about canceling, go ahead and do that. But again, it may not happen. So it's better to keep watching during the day tomorrow. So, okay, so as far out, what does hurricane season look like? The latest on the hurricane season is typically after a La Nina winter. Conditions are favorable for an increased number of named storms in the Atlantic and the Pacific, and the Eastern Pacific for that matter. So I'm saying that because we did finally make it to a La Nina, we don't have an El Nino forming yet, that we're probably going to have an average or a slightly above average number of hurricanes. That doesn't factor in the fact that there's a lot of extra warmer water out there, so probably more than normal on the hurricane season. Okay. Jeff Beachler says, bring back the snow. Richard Ashley says, no, absolutely no snow. And Teresa Rodriguez says, amen to no snow. Okay, that's it. I got to run. I thank you for joining me. We'll be here tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is going to be one of those days that if we're in wall-to-wall coverage because of the severe weather, we should have Brad, myself, and Aaron on. And one of us, and that would more than likely, it'll either be Aaron or Brad, will be in here staying live on social media and occasionally cutting into the TV with us. So we're going to try and make sure that you find out exactly what you need to know as fast as you need to know it. and as often as you need to know it. And so we'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, and we'll make sure that you know exactly what the chances are by the time it gets here. And that starts in the morning with meteorologist Catherine Bodak, then Brad, then myself and Aaron will be here mostly in the evening. So that's it. Thanks for joining me. Have yourself a nice evening, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow.